Colorful Life channel. I'm Eric. Today I'm gonna share the situation that I often come across, which is that you might often use the React.js or the Next.js to create your own SPA project, but when the structure will be normally like components and hooks and pages, and then the pages includes all the page that you would like to show on your screen, and then component will be used inside the page, and then hooks will be used as a global variables. And there might be a lot of hooks. In this case, I would say use Web3, but it could be a lot in your project. And I come across many times that this time I create this project, and then next time, and I'm gonna create another project with use Web3 TXX, and then again for the next time I'm gonna create another project again with the same use Web3 hooks. In this case, it's very hassling to like doing the copy paste or like clone the repository all the time when I every time create a new project. So what should we do? In this case, we are going to upload this project, or we are gonna publish this hooks, says use Web3 to npm package. So every time I will be able to install my own npm package, and then I just import my own package, and then I can use it as a global variable. It's very easy, and then let's get into it. So in this project, I'm going to make use of my one of my next project, this one. And as you can see, this is the boilerplate that I create for the Ethereum virtual machine, and then it is just a normal web SPA project made by Next.js, and then the site looks like this. Okay, and then I can connect with MetaMask. Okay, I just cancel, and then I can connect with the Wallet Connect. This is quite a simple Web3 website boilerplate. So what should I do is that to create such kind of project, the most important section is the use Web3 hook. So every time when I want to create a new Web3 website, and I will need to use the Web3, and this Web3 contains many components. One is the Web3 data, and then login, and as you can see here, login with the injected Web3. This one is the one I just demoed, the login with MetaMask, and then this one is the login with the Wallet Connect. And the next one, if you want to switch across different chain, and I will use the switch network. If you don't know what this is just simply to switch one EVM chain to another one. For example, Ethereum virtual machine, Ethereum to Binance Smart Chain or the Polygon. And then logout is just very straightforward. It's logout. So these 5 components, five elements are the global variable that I will need to be able to access all the time. So instead of just cloning this repository all the time when I want to create a new project, I want to just import this one, and I can use it for my new project. How to do that? Let's get into the coding section. Okay, so just open the new IDE, and then turn on the terminal, and then I would say I will make this project. Okay, and we just name it like we create a new directory called EVM Web3 hook. I think it's proper name, and then we cd into it, and then we open it by VS Code. Okay, now we are inside this project, and then next thing we need to do is just doing the yarn init. Simply just skip all the steps, and then you will see the package.json shows up. And the first step is that we are going to set up our repository. Okay, and name is this one. It's already the proper name. The version I will gonna start with 0.0.1, and main is this one. Is kind of important. Every time the user try to access your package, the npm package management manager will redirect the import statement to by this main setting. So it's very important. I will just say it like this. I will show you why we are gonna use this one, and then we are gonna use another one. Is the module, and this one is the ESN index.js. Okay. So this means that normally we use the CommonJS system, and then if that is the case, that somebody want to use the ES module, and then they can use the module system. So it will work either way. Okay, and then the next one is the probably description. We just make a simple description. Oops. Description. Okay, and we said it like EVM Web3 hook. And next one will be we make some script that we can compile our dist directory, compile all the TypeScript files to this targeted directory. And as you might know, the TypeScript is more advanced language which is based on the JavaScript, but TypeScript is not really supported by the I mean, if you want to use the TypeScript, we will need to transpile the TypeScript to the JavaScript, because most of the infrastructure like browser or Node is normally understand the JavaScript in the lower level instead of TypeScript. So every time we want to use the TypeScript, we will need to transpile the TypeScript to JavaScript. In this case, we are gonna have build, and this is called probably rn dist. We will remove the dist of everything in the dist, and then we are gonna build the ESN module, as well as the yarn build CommonJS. Okay, so this is the n instead of n. Okay, and then we will have our build ESN, and then this is the very simple TSC, and then I will set up the TS TypeScript compiler config as well later, so don't worry. And the next one is the build CJS. This is a little bit more complex. This will be tsconfig.cjs.json. Okay, that's it. So what does this mean is that when I do build, when I enter the yarn build, and then it will delete our dist directory and then build it from scratch again. So when we will do build ESN ES module by the TypeScript compiler, and then we will build the CJS by this command. Okay, so this is the very simple setting, and then what we need to do is to create a new file. Probably not create a new file. We can create a new file called tsconfig.json. Great. And as mentioned, that we need to have the TypeScript compiled setting. Is very simple. The first one is the compiler version option, sorry, and we are gonna have target this will be set as we are gonna use ES6, and next one will be library, and then it will be array of string, and then we are gonna use dom.iterable and ES next, next, okay, and next is allowed JS. Well, we will probably need this one. We use strict, this is true, and ES module interrupt, this is true, and module will be the ES6, and module resolution, we set it as not, will be sufficient. Okay, and result JSON module, this is just in case if we want to import the JSON module. For example, we will sometimes import the we sometimes import the our API JSON file, and then if we don't turn it true, and then it will return the error, and the okay, and then this one is important, JSX, this one will need to be React, and okay, and then next very important thing is our directory, and then we will set it as dist ESN. So this is the place where we set up that the directory that we want to compile our TS file to. In this case, I will compile our TS files to this directory. Okay, and this is also very important, the declaration file. If we don't turn it true, people will not be able to import the type. The TypeScript will not be able to recognize, and this one is also need to turn true. Okay, I think that's most setting option that we need to set up for the compiler. In the next one, we set include, and then it would be, don't forget the column, and we will set it src .t, probably everything, and we set exclude, and we don't want to compile the thing in node module. Okay, that's pretty much we need for the TS config. And one more thing is that remember that this config is to config the ES module, but we need another one, is common module. So I would say cjs.json. Okay, and for this one we just extended from not extend, I think it's extend our main file. Okay, and we still need the compile option, and then we can define the option here to override the config of the main config file. So in this case, this module will be common.js instead of ES6, and then the out directory will be another directory called CJS. Okay, I think that's all. So now we probably understand why we are gonna set up the main as a index CJS/index, and then the ESN/index.js. Okay, now let's get into the coding section. We just create a new folder called src, and we need to go back to our repository to try to extract the code from our repository. So what we need is this one. What we need should be hooks, and this one use web3, and then we just copy it, and we can just in case, we create a hooks folder and then put the use web3.tsx and then pass everything in, probably not ts, because there is no functional component to return, and we will create another one called index.ts, and we are going to copy this index. Okay, that's it. And you see, like, there are many arrow here. What is it happening? We need to import those these dependencies. We don't have any dependency installed inside our project, and then we don't define any dependency here, so we need to define the dependency. So simply speaking, let's just create a dependency here, and then we can copy paste dependency from our React project here. Oh no, JSON, where is the JSON? Here. Okay, we simply just copy all the dependency here. What about this? Okay, that's all our dependencies. And then we might not need everything, right? We don't need a lot of things. We don't need and we don't need and less, we don't need next, we don't need all the things related to next, and then we don't need sus because it's styling, and we don't need type chain, and we don't need ESLint either, and then as well as the .env type chain either. Okay, I think that's it. And the dependency here, we TypeScript. Okay, and I think we don't need these two to be here, because we are gonna use this one in this one will be used in the the global project scope npm package, so we don't need to install inside our npm package. But very importantly, we need to define the peer dependency for these two to let the npm manager to understand that to use the React DOM, not React DOM, to use the React. Where is React? I think I accidentally delete React is here. Okay, so we are gonna let the npm manager to know that these two will be used. We are gonna use these two inside the project scale instead of the npm package scope. I think that's everything that we need for now. And I would say this one, we will need all this dependency instead of div dependency. Okay, that's it. Okay, great. And then we can do yarn install. It would take a little bit time. And then we just wait for the installation, and then I will come back very soon. Okay, in the meantime, we can sort out the repository. I mean, we can sort out our code base, and then because we don't need everything inside here, right? We need only part of it, related to the Web3 context. We don't need the notify context and loading context because you can see in the original project here. Okay, so you can see in the original project here, we have many hooks. We have use notify and use loading hooks, and these two hooks also be the logic of these two hooks also inside here, the index. So we need to remove those logic. So we don't need loading, we don't need notify. Yeah, that's cool. And then the same thing, we probably don't need the loading, we also don't need notify, and we don't need loading, we don't need notify, and we don't need to set the notify, and then we don't need to set notified again, we don't need to set notify. It's exactly the same thing. Well, okay, set notify. Okay, perfect. And we probably rename it as it was app context before, but because it includes many hooks, but now we only have one hook inside here, so we will name it as Web3 context. Okay, and of course here okay, Web3 context. Probably later. We will name it as Web3 context provider. Cool. And let's see what's happening. Cannot find namespace for Web3 context. Web3 context should be here. So the reason is this, because it's the functional component, so we need to rename it as TSX, and then everything will be working fine. Okay, and then let's see what we need to remove. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. And then it says React refers a empty global, but the current file is a module, and then we need to import React. Here it is, and then now everything is working, as you can see. But now let's see, just check it even more carefully. Check it even more carefully. We have this thing, but if we use it as an external module, we might need some more things, which is something like loading. So we add the loading here. This will be a boolean. Okay, I think that's it what we need. And then when we add one props here, and then we will need to input the booleans here. Okay, then what should we do for this is that we need to make sure that we have a loading state, loading, and then set loading, and this will be use state, and the something called, this one will be boolean, and the default value is false. And next one, okay, and well, here we will need to have set loading to true, and this one we will be set loading to false, and then again here we will be set loading as true, and we will have different case of set loading false. The first one is here, set loading false, and another is this set loading false, just in case that it will not just block the loading. And here we we will set the loading true, set loading true, and we will also need to have two set loading false. In this case, set loading false, and finally log out, because there is no async function, we don't need to do anything here. And here switch network, we need to set loading here as well. We do this set loading right above the async function. And next one will be okay, well, the same thing, we need to have to set loading false and set probably don't need to, because there is no return statement. Well, just let me think about it. We probably need to change the structure a little bit, because it could block, it's possibly block things, so we need to try it, because when things go wrong here, we need to catch the error, and then to make it not to be blocked inside here. Okay, and then this one should be well, should be here. And if there is error, we just console log the error instead of just break all the code. And then so in this case, it's much easier. We just set the loading here false. Well, we forgot to set loading true. Okay, and then here simply add a loading. Perfect. And finally, we change the name a little bit. Okay, oh, we have already changed the name. That's perfect. Okay, I think that's everything we need to do. And now the very most important thing comes here. We need to build yarn build, and you will see the dist folder coming up here. We have ESN, and then we have CJS. Cool. That's everything we need. Okay, and then we probably need one more thing. Okay, I think that's it. Perfect. And next step is to publish our repository to the npm, so that we can use the npm, import our module through the npm. Before that, we will need to have a count of the npm. So if you don't have it, you need to register one. It's for free to have unlimited public repository here. And we can see now, for now, I don't have any packages here. And now I will need to publish one. Okay, so we can use yarn login first. Now I have already logged in as my information, and now I can yarn publish, and we can update the version to 0.0.2, and then we need to have our password. And we will need to have another scale one-time password for publishing the just a second. One-time password will be sent to your registered mail, and then you will need to. I'm checking my email now, and then what we need to do is just using the one-time password to do so. Now I have my one-time password here, and now something went wrong. Couldn't publish the package. gonna be republished. Okay, well, the reason is that I have already used this name as my test, but probably we just change the name. EVM hooks. What about this? Okay, we do the same thing. We don't need to change the version, just again the same. And the password is my password. One-time password again. Okay. We copy this and enter. And everything is now going well. And then when we refresh our page, and then you see there is one package, we might need to do multiple times to let the repository database down, and then second time, third time, I don't know why. Okay, now it comes up here, pretty cool. And then we can get into this one, and you will be able to see the version here, and then as well as the types here, because we defined it as the type repository. Just because we have these types defined inside our repository in type D, but I would suggest that we can define one more thing, which is the types. Probably not, if they're okay. And let's see what is inside our code. Okay, we have this src and the package JSON, and the main is this common.js, and then the module is the ES module. Okay, now okay, then everything is done. Let's try to use this. Okay, so what we are going to do is to create a new, open our new terminal, and then we can create a new next app, and we might be name it as like use web3 dash test. Okay, and then dash y to ignore all the steps. The naming doesn't allow the upper letter. Okay, do we need to use the TypeScript? Yes. Do we need to use the ESLint? No. Okay, and then it will install every dependencies in the project level. So this is what I mentioned. We will use the project levels TypeScript. Okay, now it's done. Surprisingly fast. Okay, and we can just go ahead to do yarn add our package EVM web3 hooks, and boom, it's cool, it's installing our package, and then we will see will it be working fine. But for now, the installation will be taking a little bit longer because we are going to install many packages related to a blockchain wallet, and then those wallet package is fairly big, so we need to wait for a little bit. But in the meantime, we will just get into the code. We can get into the project, cd, what's that, we said we create use web3 test, right? Okay, now we open it through our VS Code. Okay, now we are inside the use web3 test, and now we can try to consume our use web3 hooks module. We just use it inside the root level of this project here. And firstly, we can try if it is working as we expect. Yarn div, and then it will listen to the port 3000, and let's see if the port 3000 is accessible. Now, okay, now it's the boilerplate of the Next.js, so it means that it is working. And then we terminate it, and then we can, now let's see, okay, it's already installed, so we can close it, and now we can import our use web3. Well, import use web3 from no, we need to do the web3 well, import web3 context provider from EVM, this one. Okay, now we need to wrap all the components by this context provider, web3 context provider. Oops, web3 context provider, pretty cool. Okay, and does not have any constructor to call. Okay, I think we need to do it like this because it's not default exported. Okay, and we can try if it is working. Oops. Okay, and let's have a check. Just give me a second. Let me clean a little bit. Okay, now as you can see, there is no error, so it is probably working. So let us do something more interesting. So as you can see, this all the component is wrapped by our provider. So that means we can access all the data in the Web3 context. Let's try this one. Let's try if we can access the data from this index, the main page of this Next.js app. So let's try to import use web3. Well, import from EVM, this one, use web3 b, or what is that things? Just give me a second. It should be, I should be use web3. That's weird. Okay, well, use web3, and I've exported, and then here, okay, in the index. Okay, I think I need to route the web3 in the index of this package. So that means we need to get back to our, just give me a second, and we are gonna turn on another terminal and then head into the project, web, and then you inside the EVM Web3 hook, and then we open this terminal here. Okay, and we can see here the very important thing is that we need to route all the export from the US Web3 to outside of the world. So we need to export everything from the US Web3. Okay, I think it makes things work. Let's try. And we need to publish it again. Yarn publish, and we need to just update the version. And we need to input the one-time password again. It's 61664787, and it's publishing. And we can see if we have the package here, and this should turn to okay, it turns to 0.0.3, so it's our up-to-date version. Now we go to our test npm pack. Well, okay, we turn this off, and then let's try to remove the yarn, remove the original package, EVM web3 dot hook, and then oops, I think I make a big mistake because I forgot to compile. Okay, let's try it again. Yarn build very quick after building, and then we can publish again. Update the version, password, one-time password, okay, upload it, and let's see if this is updated as well accordingly. It must be. Okay, perfect. Then we go back to our coding section. Okay, now we need to remove the Web3. Okay, it's already removed, and then we need to add again to make sure everything is up to date. We need to have this package in 0.0.4. It should be fairly quick, I believe. Okay, that's been taking a little bit longer than I expected, but it's almost done. Okay, and now as you can see, it's updated version. And let's go back to the folder of index, I mean here. And then as you can see, there is no longer arrow here, so we can use the thing, the parameter inside this hook. So let's see what we can do. We can use the Web3 data, right? And we can use loading, right? And let's try something interesting. We can print out we can show the information. Unify Web3 data, and this one we call it probably Web3 data, and then we can show the loading. Just the string file loading. Okay, and we can use the login. Probably we use this one, and we can create a button. Maybe just make it easier, we don't need to create a new component, we just use the Next.js. I think it is this one. We change the behavior here. We change the behavior here. We are not gonna have anchor tag, and then we have the onClick, and then we just inject the login with Web3. Pretty cool. Let's try. And we better make a logout as well. And then here we log out in clicking this get start by editing. We probably change it to login, and we change this one to logout, and then click logout. Okay, try if it's working. Let's see. Oops, that's error here. Well, we cannot stringify this. Try something. Okay, anyway, we try this loading first, and then we can try login. Well, it doesn't work well. Why it does not log in? Okay, I think it's working fine because we just changed this a little bit, and then we wait for it, wait for the result of this function, and then to see the result, and then we can try again. Click this, and we can see this one is already actually logged in. But to see it more clearly, we probably disconnect this wallet again, and then we try to connect again. And then you will see it's not connected. And when we get back to here, actually it's connected. We need to disconnect everything. To make sure everything is disconnected. And you see here, it asks us to connect, right? And then we can connect, and it's connected. And I think we can check the detail of the information. Loading is not informative. We try to check something else. Web3 data dot Web3 data dot chain ID, and we can, this is chain ID, and we can also see the account. Web3 data.account.0, Okay, now you can see now chain is 97 and then account is this account, which is the one we have been connected to CE. I think it's this one, CE, but I don't want it to be connected. I just want to disconnect this one. Oops, disconnect. Okay, and that's, we disconnect again, disconnect. I don't know why it's just like active my account, all the account. Okay, now as everything is not connected, and then let me try it again. We use the the very first one, and then we can try to log in, click OK, and then it pop up the window to access to connect, and then we click the first one and then next. Awesome, it's connected, and then you can see the account is this one, and then chain ID is this, and then loading is this. It means that we can just easily do the two-step to get all the data. The first one is just like import the data, import the provider, and then wrap all the components inside this provider, and then we can consume this data from all over the application. It's quite cool, and it's very easy to use. And then when I want to create a new Web3 project, and then I can just simply do that two-step that I just showed before, and then I just simply create a new DApp. That's very easy. So I hope this is useful for you, and I will talk to you next time. If you like this video, please just click like and subscribe. Thank you.